How's it going, everybody? The beginning of a new series that I'm starting here today. We're gonna take the Airfoil Lab Cessna around the coastline of Florida. It's probably gonna be many parts with my availability of flying. I am from Florida, so it's gonna be a cool, real-world, situational thing. Um, Looking like probably end up being over 1,500 miles flown during the course of this. Also ETA of 12 hours and 36 minutes. We can probably assume that that would double, maybe between half of that and double that for full stop landings and whatnot, and restarts and fuel and all that. But it should be a fun little trip. I've kind of wanted to plan this and do this for a while here. So you can see that. We're going to start at the top at Fernandina Beach. And there, so we're going to stop at everything other than military and private airports. So we'll try to keep it as realistic as possible. There might be some times where I'll jump on VATSIM or something like that that actually have some ATC, but for the most part, we'll just kind of go along flying here and experience that. Now, I've never flown the Airfoil Labs enough where I might have run into some situations where real world failures happen or whatnot. So it'll be another good test to see the breakdown of components or parts through the course of this flight. So, like I said, we're gonna head on out. Real world weather right now, not the real time, but this is pretty good looking weather right now. That's all I know. We're gonna stick with VFR flying through the course of this for the most part. And if we need to go IFR at any point in time, we'll do that too. So let's get this started here. I'm gonna turn that battery on. Get the mixture set full in. Throttle correct. All right, and fuel pump on. I don't want the hints. Okay, we're all primed up. Pull the mixture back and keep the throttle in and start. That's a good start. Alright, so we'll let her warm up a little there. Alright, alternator on, avionics on. And I'll switch. I am using track IR to kind of make the realism better. And I think I have to reset my track IR on off button. Set that real quick, and I want 9, and that's track IR off. Right there, boom, done. Okay, so let's turn that off. Alright, so that's coming up right now. We gotta turn that on, go to standby here, squawk VFR. Alright, so let's grab the AWOS is 118.075, already got plugged in, so let's see what we got. 303. We're right about there. Okay, departing 3127. Cleared up a little bit. All right. Good deal. All right, so we're going to depart 31, which is a little bit taxi to our left, and then another left. Head on down. Let's get our compass set just off of north. We're just off of north, so I guess that's all set for us. Well, I know that does swing around, so I'm actually pretty surprised that it's on right now. But alright, let's get TrekR back on. We're all warmed up. Brakes released. Try to fly all this VFR for the most part, because you got good opportunities to fly VFR in Florida. So we might dodge some storms throughout our flight, especially when we get down to Miami. But alright, taxi light coming on. So I have the plane loaded with my weight, simulating me, my wife, and my child. So kind of like cool little test here. Alright. Let's get one notch flaps in. And let's make sure our trim set. I'm going to try to avoid autopilot this whole trip. So that's kind of why it was nice to break up with all the little different airstrips, because you don't feel like you have to sit there on autopilot for a long period of time. So we're going to taxi down this way. Pull a little bit of throttle here. Sim's looking good today. There we go. There's the flag. There's a handful of, you may see that little cutout there in the display. I cannot figure out for the life of me why it's doing that. OBS, something with OBS. I haven't really checked to see if there was a update or something like that with it. I'll hold short here, make sure we're clear, nobody on final. I do have live traffic running, so maybe when we get closer to Jacksonville, we'll see that. I really have no idea what this jumpiness is. It appears to me like it's TrekIR. I also wanted to turn something else on. See, I unloaded XP Realistic. It's giving me some issues with weather, or it'll override weather some point in time. I don't know if that's been fixed yet. Okay, so I might get off of TrekIR because I really don't like that twitching thing that's going on. Okay, so there's 3-1 over there. We're going to taxi down this way. Set my heading bug. No, we're actually going to depart 27. So, get this around here. All right. Very sensitive on the... I believe the latest update kind of got rid of all of Airfoil Labs' manual settings for controls and whatnot. So I kind of want to play with that real quick because I really do feel like it's very, very sensitive. So there's my yaw, my response curve. I'm trying to remember. I believe I did like something like that and then pulled this down a little bit. So let me have 2.6. I'm gonna remember that. Done. That feels a little bit better. Yeah, it feels a little weak now. Let me go there. We'll edit that. So I want to pull this way a little bit. Something like that. Let's do that. Okay, that's a lot better right there. So I kind of got built in my null zone a little bit there. All right. Ready to depart. I should really practice my run up and all that, but just gonna kind of get going tonight. Get this flight going. All right. All right. A little bit more. All right, mixture is full in, fuel pump is on, landing light is on, strobe is on. And I'm gonna line up here. And we will go on for our transponder. All right. Slightly a little crosswind correction there. So we'll go with there. And here we go. $60. And pull. Okay, above the ground, flaps up. Get the nose to drop down. Pick up a little speed here. Okay, so we want to make sure we don't go into Jacksonville's class Charlie airspace. So we're going to make that, hang this immediate. Right here. So that's one good thing that we can use if we're not using it for the GPS purposes, but using the GPS to make sure we're avoiding airspaces. That's a good thing right there. So we are flying in the westerly direction, so our flight today is going to be at, we'll go 25. We'll have to make sure that we are aware and staying away from the airspace of Mayport. So that's another thing you're seeing on the GPS right there. Okay, so let me get my pitch all set here. Trimming. And of course my trim wheel is backwards right now. Reset that. So we're fully loaded with fuel and fully loaded with passengers, just below our starting CG. So it definitely feels heavy. So there is a slight gap in between the Charlie of Jacksonville and the airspace of Mayport. So we're going to have to squeeze right in there. So we're at 2,000. Turn track IR back on, see if that glitching went away. Looks good. I'll make this turn here. Get ready to trimmer. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Let me reset my track IR. There may be chances where I'll switch out of the air. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I might switch back and forth to other GA on this trip. You know, maybe the Pipers. I'll stick around the lower horsepower, smaller general aviation aircraft. So we're getting a little bit fast. Try to hold her steady here. I'm really not impressed with what's going on with track IR right now. Alright, as you can see, that gap is not very big when it comes to the Charlie. So we're going to end up going pretty much right over the Jacksonville city. Let's get rid of the yoke for just a second. So I'm going to fuel pump off, and I'll turn my landing line off. And let's lean the mixture just a little bit. I'm watching the EGT gauge down there. And we really started climbing there, so I got to get better at holding my altitude for sure. Getting some thermals, definitely feel that. As far as weather, running, pull a little bit more throttle. Ultra weather for the weather and active sky for the plug-in injector. Really doesn't want to descend on me. Thank you for that. Got a lot of things going on right now. So we're trying to thread the needle right there. Definitely feeling those thermals here because this plane does not want to descend, so I'm definitely going to just pull more power. The nuclear power plant up there. We're off to the right. Okay, so we need to cut this way a little bit. Actually, I wanted to look, see what. So the class Charlie is at the bottom of the class Charlie in this area is 1,200 feet. So we could actually, I don't really want to go below. So we're just going to thread the needle here, right between the airspaces. So we're at 25 here. Let me trim or retrim. Add that power back in. Okay, so our first stop is going to be Craig Airport, just southeast of the city. No aileron trim. And rudder's pretty good. I'm not going to put any rudder trim in there, but I definitely do have that turn. So we'll make our way this way a little bit. We're going to have to watch out for towers. There's 2 towers in our way. They're both registering at 315. They look a little higher than that on... Okay, so Craig is just in front of us. Get the ATIS for them, which is 125.4. Now, being a better pilot, I would have had this already plugged in. Okay, 3005, arriving 32. Okay, so there's 35. All right, so 32 at Craig. Let's figure out where we're at for that. I'm pulling out my airport data on SkyVector. So I want to set my heading bug to 32 so I can figure out where I'm at. So we will make... Trying to think here. Actually, don't have the field on site right now. Oh, it's off to my left. Oh, here we go. Man, I missed that one bad. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to make downwind. We're way high. Definitely botched that one up. I was actually forgot it was that close. All right, so we're going to make, we're way high in the pattern for sure. Okay, so I want that track IR running for me right now, for sure. We'll make a long downwind so we can get settled. Field elevation is 41, so our pattern altitude would have been 141. We're going to need to get low on that one. So 3.2 right there. And we're beam the numbers, so we're going to go ahead and pitch for 80. I'm going to drop 1 notch flaps down right now. Make sure it's full. Fuel pumps on, landing lights on. I'm gonna set the RPM for 15. Okay, 45. Try to coordinate my turn a little better. There's base. We're getting a little slow. Right on, Pappy. I'm gonna do a 1-notch landing here. I'm a little low, even though the Pappy says I'm high, or the glide slope says I'm high. Kind of want to do 1-notch right now. And I kind of got to break the habit because I'm not training right now for the most part, but I always get into the groove of flying to the touchdown spot instead of the numbers. So, and this is definitely a long landing right now. And a bounce. Not very good to start it out. Alright, let's get off the runway. Oh, fuel pump can come off. Let's get our mixture down for lean, ground lean. And we're going to taxi back down to 3-2. And depart again. Whoop, a little short of the... Alright. So we got all the bugs out. Get all of our bad landings and rust off on our sim on the first leg. So next airport's going to be KSGJ St. Augustine, which is my home airport. So should be a little bit better and more familiar where we're going. That leg, let me look right now. That leg is going to be 12.7 miles. So another one of those where we're going to have to make a quick left upwind and get away from Jacksonville's airspace. Still want to do some minor tweaking on this. I'm going to do this off stream on the next, or not stream, but recording. A little bit of a weather reload there. Okay, check, make sure it's clear. I'm also interested to see just really the fuel economy and performance of I always get mixed up here. I'm gonna stop right here. Always better to stop than to make a bad move, right? So the taxiway goes directly out to the cross of 2-3 and 3-2. So that's what always gets me. I'll take taxiway E to get back on there. All right, flaps are down for 1 notch. Landing lights on, taxi off. Do not know why it was doing that. And we want to check our trim. Our trim's pretty close. All right. All right, mixture is full. Fuel pump is on. And let's rock and roll. Put in a pretty good bit amount of, there's 60 and rotate. And a pretty good amount of rudder in there. Almost like the wind direction changed right at the end there. At 500 above, I'll make my left up one. And flaps up. All right. 500 above. City of Jacksonville right there. I don't honestly know at all why that track R thing is doing that, but I'm going to shut her down. Okay, so we're looking for a heading of 164 out of Craig, so I'm going to look for that. I'm going to pull that radial up. I should just put this on nav 1. Okay, now I gotta. So we're looking 164. So watch out for the towers. Make our turn to intercept that. We'll be flying more east now, so let's go with altitude of. Well, let's fly at 15. What the hey? We'll stay right there. Florida's flat. Don't have to get too high. Let's go turn to intercept. Okay. Pull a little bit of power. Just make sure we don't over rev. And we're still climbing pretty good. Pull a little bit more power, and I'll try to lean her out just a little bit, even though at 15. Really got a rise out of it then. And here comes our radial. Turn, intercept that. Right, almost on it. Went a little bit past, but we're good. All right. Looking good. Gauge is looking good. Still wants to climb on me pretty good, so I'll just trim her down just a little bit. Try to get back on that radial. All right, so I'm going to zoom in on the GPS. All right. So we're coming back into that. Let's get ATIS for St. Augustine 119.625. Oh, you know what? And the ATIS is not going to come in too because unless somebody's made an update. Nope. So I did the scenery over in St. Augustine, and when I do sceneries, I want to make sure that the real world ATC is in place. And for some reason, when I got transferred to the gateway, it didn't go in. And of course, I still have not redone it and resubmitted it to get it back in there. But so I'll check Active Sky, see what it has to say. Shouldn't change a whole lot. Definitely have a little bit of a wind to the east. As far as GA is concerned, there's two planes in particular that I really feel like you get a lot of good motion, natural motion of airflow, and that'd be like the Just Flight Pipers and Airfoil Labs King Air. But the subtle little bumps in the air, I definitely feel when I'm in the Airfoil Labs. I like it. So let me look up KSG. Okay, so winds are 240 at 4. It's almost directly at crosswind, so that'll be a nice little crosswind approach on 313. So that's what we'll end up doing. We're going to make straight into 13. With a nice little crosswind. So there's the inlet over there, and you should see St. Augustine right there. That's Northeast Florida Regional, KSGJ. So we're going to make our way back towards 95. I definitely feel that wind, though. It's carrying me off a line just a little bit. I believe we're crossing over Ponte Vedra right now. Good weather today. It's been very convective, very stormy for the last couple of days. We're just now about to get into a little lull of stability in the air, so it's been hot for sure. Little thermal there over the roads. I don't know if X-Plane does that or Active Sky would introduce it, but you know, thermals, you'd get more thermals over hot cement for sure. So I wonder if that was it. Fuel gauges still barely used any fuel. So we're going to shoot out over towards pretty much heading straight out here into this intersection of Route 1, Phillips Highway. The approach crosses over the highway, so if I come out here, I got to be on the west side of the highway. Definitely bumpy over here a little bit. Really, I want to figure out what was going on with that track IR. But going back on that, like I said, I might fly some other general aviation aircraft on this trip, but not sure exactly what it's going to be yet. So we can see the airfields off to our left. Just going to go over here, kind of pretty much making a left base for 3-1, quite an extended left base. So we're within range, so I'm going to get the mixture in. And we're going to pull power a little bit. We're going to get down to field elevation's 18, so we're going to get down to 1018 in a pattern altitude. And pretty much set up a long 3-mile approach. All right, trying to get her to come down. All right. So we're right there. We're almost in lined up. Got a little bit more. All right. Start making a little gradual turn. So let's get her trimmed for 80. Remember, we got a little crosswind, so we'll correct that way. So I'm going to get the throttle down to 18 or down to 15. Fuel pump's on. Mixture's full. And let's go 1 notch flaps. Push this up on the Pappy. So I'm going to pull down a little bit more power. Pull in a little bit more. Slipping a little bit to get in here. Just doesn't want to stay. So we're going to keep our right wing down. Again, I hit the touchdowns, looking at the touchdown spots instead of the numbers. And floated it again. Right's down first. And left. Not bad. A little bit of a hard stop there, but we're going to use this taxiway to get back over. And this is one of the runways is utilizes a taxiway when not active. It's not active very often. All right. Fuel pump can come off. Pull some mixture. And we're going to go to the FBO. And we'll call it part 1 right there. After this, it will be Flagler County K-Fin on your maps. We'll also have Ormond Beach after that, Daytona, New Smyrna. I don't know if I put Deltona on there or not, but we'll take a look. We'll taxi right off to the runway here. Flaps up. And taxi lights on, landing off. So thanks for joining us. It hasn't been the most stellar of flying so far, but checking this out. Like I said, part 1 of many to come. Just thinking about lately the amount of time that I've had to fly has been few and far between. So just being able to get down to like Miami might take almost a couple weeks. Right, I'm going, but we'll park right next to this 172 right here. Stop right there. All right. Pull the mixture, avionics off. All right, thanks for joining me on this first leg of the Florida coast trip. We'll look to see you on the next trip. Well, thank you much for joining. See you again.